Here's one more example of how we go about using our calculator to help us determine the equation for the line of best fit. The first thing we like to do is to clear all lists, and the fastest way to do this is to go to Second Plus, which is our memory, and we'll see this menu, and then we'll choose option 4 to clear all lists. When we hit enter, we'll see this on our screen, clear all lists, done. That means that all of the numbers in lists, any lists there in the stat menu, will be erased. Then to enter the data into our lists, we'll go to Stat, where we'll see this window, and we're going to choose option 1 to edit the lists. We'll then enter the values of X in list 1 and the values of Y in list 2. And this happens to be a screenshot of the data we looked at in class on Friday, comparing the number of minutes the basketball player played and the number of points scored. So this is example 1 in our notes. Now all of us should have our stat plot on because we turned it on in class on Friday, but just to be sure, if we go to second Y equals, we want our screen to look like the one pictured here in the middle of my screen. We want plot 1 on, we want the first type selected, we want the X list to be L1, and if it's anything other than L1, we'll type second 1 there. And we want the Y list to be L2. And if it's anything other than L2 there, we'll type second 2. And once we get that plot set up in that way, we can zoom 9 to see the plot. Now there's a possibility that you have something in Y equals that might get in the way or mess up the dimensions. So if so, you need to go to Y equals and clear that equation and then hit graph or zoom 9 again. And our graph looks something like this. So it does look pretty linear, so it makes sense that we would try to fit a line to that data. So we'll go back to our home screen, which is second mode, where you see the quit button, and we'll get set up to do our linreg. So we go to Stat Calculate to find all of our regression equations, and we're going to choose option 4, which is linear regression. This fits a line to the data. Now so that we can see the line with the data, we're going to tell it to put the line's equation in Y1. So we have to tell it where the X's are. They are in L1, comma, then tell it where the Y's are. They are in L2, and again those are second 1, second 2. And the comma's right above the 7. Then tell it to paste it in Y1. Now we don't have to do this, this just allows us to see the line on the graph with the data. So the place that we get Y1 is under variables, and then we arrow to the right to get Y variables, and then we choose option 1, which is function, and then we choose option 1, which is Y1. And we hit enter. And it gives us this equation. Y equals 0.775x plus negative 5.800. Notice I tried to carry at least 3 digits after the decimal point. I would highly recommend, in fact require that you do that, especially for slope, because that will allow us to get better predictions if we round less when we substitute values in for X. The R value here is 0.885, which is pretty strong because we said in our previous video that we want R to be between R will always be between -1 and 1, and the closer that it is to -1 or +1, the stronger the linear relationship. So this is a pretty strong positive linear relationship between the number of minutes played and the points scored.